فلا سبيل إلى أن يكون المسلم من الفرقة الناجية إلا بأن يتبع الكتاب والسنة وعلى ما كان عليه السلف الصالح.
In the hadith of Abdullah bin Mas'ud, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, فَيَعُودُ إِلَيْهِ رِيحُ أَهْلِ الْجَنَّةِ وَأَلْوَانُهُمْ. And so he will smell the fragrance of the people of the paradise, and he will see the beautiful colors of the paradise and the people therein. فَيَرَى مَا فِي الْجَنَّةِ مِنْ خِلَالِ الْبَابِ. And he will see what is in the paradise from the door. فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي أَدْخِلْنِي الْجَنَّةِ. And he will say, "Oh my Lord, enter me into the paradise." فَيَقُولُ اللَّهُ لَهُ أَتَسْأَلُ الْجَنَّةَ وَقَدْ نَجَّيْتُكَ مِنَ النَّارِ. Allah will say, "Are you asking me for the paradise and I saved you and spared you from the fire?" فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي اجْعَلْ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَهَا حِجَابًا لَا أَسْمَعُ حَسِيسَهَا. He said, "Oh my Lord, then make a barrier between me and the fire so I don't hear its raging and its roaring any longer. So I won't hear the hellfire." قَالَ فَيَدْخُلُ الْجَنَّةِ. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, at that point he will enter the paradise. Abu Sa'id reported from the Prophet ﷺ, فيقول أي رب أدخلني الجنة فيدخله الله الجنة فإذا دخل الجنة قال هذا لي وهذا لي. He said that once he enters the paradise, he will start to look at what is in the paradise and he say, "This is mine, and that's mine, and that's mine, and this is mine." Ibn Mas'ud, he said, فيرى أو يرفع له منزل أمام ذلك. That a place in the paradise beyond where he originally enters the paradise, where he asks Allah to place him once he was in the paradise, will be presented to him. It will be raised up for him so that he can see it. كأنما هو فيه إليه حلم. And it will seem like a dream to him. فيقول ربي أعطيني ذلك المنزل. He will say, "Oh Allah, give me that place." فيقول له فلعلك إن أعطيتكه تسأل غيره. Perhaps if I gave you that, you would ask for more. فيقول لا وعزتك لا أسألك غيره. He will say, "No, by your might I won't ask you for anything more." وأي منزل يكون أحسن منه. And what place is better than this place? قال ويرى أو يرفع له أمام ذلك منزل آخر كأنما هو إليه حلم فيقول أعطيني ذلك المنزل فيقول الله جل جلاله فلعلك إن أعطيتك تسأل غيره. قال لا وعزتك لا أسأل غيره وأي منزل يكون أحسن منه فيعطاه فينزله. When he is going to that place, he will see another place. When he is going to that place, he will say, "In what place it could be better than that place that he just saw?" And then he will see another place and he will ask Allah for that place. And Allah will say, "Perhaps you will ask for another place." And he will say, "What place could be better than that place?" He will be given that station. He will arrive there at that manzil, at that place. Ibn Mas'ud, he said, the Prophet ﷺ, in the wording of Bukhari, the Prophet ﷺ said, فَيَأْتِيهَا فَيُخَيَّلُ إِلَيْهِ أَنَّهَا مَلْآ أي أَنَّ الْجَنَّةَ مَلْآ. He will go to that place and he will be made to think that the paradise is full. There's no more room for him. After he arrives there, that there is no more place in the paradise. فَيَرْجِعُ فَيَقُولُ يَا رَبِّي وَجَدْتُهَا مَلْآ. He will go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he will say, "Oh Allah, I found the paradise is full." فَيَقُولُ اللَّهُ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ اذْهَبْ فَادْخُلُ الْجَنَّةَ فَيَأْتِيهَا فَيُخَيَّلُ إِلَيْهِ أَنَّهَا مَلْآ. He will go back, enter the paradise, and think the same thing. He will say, "Oh my Lord, indeed I found it to be full." Abdullah bin Mas'ud, he said in the long hadith of the Prophet ﷺ said, ثُمَّ يَسْكُتْ, and then he'll be quiet. After asking for all of this, and every time promising he wouldn't ask for any more, he won't ask for anything else. ثُمَّ يَسْكُتْ فَيَقُولُ اللَّهُ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ, Allah Azza wa Jal, he will say to him, مَا لَكَ لَا تَسْأَلُ, why aren't you asking? Why aren't you asking? فَيَقُولُ رَبِّي لَقَدْ سَأَلْتُكَ حَتَّى اسْتَحْيَيْتُكَ وَأَقْسَمْتُ لَكَ حَتَّى اسْتَحْيَيْتُكَ. He will say, "Oh my Lord, indeed I asked you until I was too shy to ask for anything else. And I swore by you that I wouldn't ask for anything else until I became too shy to ask for anything else." فيقول الله تعالى ألم ترضى أن أعطيك مثل الدنيا منذ خلقتها إلى يوم أفنيتها وعشرة أضعافه. He said, wouldn't you, Allah Azza wa Jalla will say to him, wouldn't you be pleased if I gave you the likes of everything in the world, everything in the dunya, from the time I created it until the day that I obliterated it, from the time I brought it into existence to the day I took it out of existence, and 10 times its light, 10 times that amount of everything that was ever in this world, from the time it was, imagine, because many of us may live in not the most favorable neighborhoods. Imagine how many times you drive down a street and you take the scenic route home. You say, wow, man, there's some beautiful homes. Look at all these trees, beautiful, and these flower-lined streets and so on and so forth. Now imagine having everything, the likes of everything in the dunya from the time it was created to the time it was taken out of existence, and 10 times that. فَيَقُولُ أَتَسْتَحْزِئُ بِي وَأَنْتَ رَبُّ الْعِزَّةِ. He will say, are you mocking me, O Allah, and you are Rabbul Izzah? Are you mocking me, O Allah, and you are the Lord of might and honor, and you're mocking me? You're making fun of me, O Allah? The narrator said, فَرَأَيْتُ عَبْدَ اللَّهِ بن مسعود إِذَا بَلَغَ هَذَا الْمَكَانَ مِنْ هَذَا الْحَدِيثِ ضَحِكَ. He said, I saw Abdullah bin Mas'ud smile and laugh when he reached this place in the hadith. فَقَالَ لَهُ رَجُلٌ, and a man, he said to him, يَا أَبَا عَبْدِ الرَّحْمَنِ قَدْ سَمِعْتُكَ تُحَدِّثُ هَذَا الْحَدِيثِ مِرَارًا. It's a fa'idah, it's a tremendous fa'idah what he just said. The man, he will say, I heard you narrate this hadith many times, because this hadith, we need to hear it many times so it can have its effect upon us. He said, I heard you narrate this hadith many times. The companions brought knowledge to life by reviewing it constantly. They didn't learn something and never go back to it and never review it. He said, I heard you narrate this hadith many times. And every time you reach this place in the hadith, you smile or you laugh. فقال إني سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يحدث هذا الحديث مرارا. He said, I heard the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم narrate this hadith many times. And every time he reached this place of the hadith, he would smile صلى الله عليه وسلم until his molar teeth would show. Abdullah bin Mas'ud, he said that the Prophet ﷺ said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, Sal, ask anything. Sal fayaqul alhiqni bin nas. At this point he has entered the paradise, but he is not with the rest of the people in the paradise. If he has family, he has not been reunited with his family. He's all by himself in the paradise. He's alone in the paradise, all by himself. And he will say, reunite me with the people. Allah, after that, he will say, ask anything. And he will say, reunite me with the people. فَيَقُولُ إِلْحَقْ بِالنَّاسِ أو إِلْحَقِ النَّاسِ قَالَ فَيَنْطَلِقُ يَرْمُلُ فِي الْجَنَّةِ. ويقال يرمل يعني إن أسرع في المشي. And that this man, Allah will say to him, be reunited with the people. Go to where the rest of the people are. And he will stroll through the paradise. He will walk very quickly through the paradise. Very fast through the paradise, almost running. حتى إذا دنا من الناس رفع له قصر من درة فيخر ساجدا. Abdullah bin Mas'ud, he said, in the longer hadith reported by Al-Hakim and Al-Tabarani and others, a hadith about which Al-Imam Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala, he says about the hadith, huwa hadithun azimun hasanun. He said it is a hadith that is tremendous and it is hasan in its chain of narration. And many of the ulama of Islam and the scholars of hadith have graded it to be hasan. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, and so when he goes towards where the people are in the paradise, a palace will be raised up for him. A palace that will be like a pearl will be raised up for him. فَيَخِرُّ سَاجِدًا. And he will fall down in sajda. And he will fall down in sajda. فَيُقَالُ لَهُ ارْفَعْ رَأْسَكَ مَا لَكَ. It will be said to him, raise your head. What is wrong with you? Why did you fall into sajda? فَيَقُولُ رَأَيْتُ رَبِّي أَوْ تَرَاءَ لِي رَبِّي. When his palace appears for him in its brightness and its beauty, he will fall into sajda. And it will be said to him, raise your head, what is wrong with you? Why are you making sajda? And he will say, I saw my Lord. Or my Lord showed himself to me. He sees his home. He will fall into sajda. فَيُقَالُ لَهُ. And it will be said to him, إِنَّمَا هُوَ مَنْزِلٌ مِّن مَنَازِلِكَ. It will be said to him, this is just one of your many homes in the paradise. The Prophet ﷺ, he said in the one on hadith of Abi Hurairah, in the Sahih of Al-Imam Muslim, إِنَّ لِلْمُؤْمِنِ فِي الْجَنَّةِ لَخَيْمَةً. Indeed, the believer in the paradise, he will have a khayma, a pavilion. Ibn Qayyim, he said a pavilion is not the home of a person, but rather it is the place that leads from, and a pavilion is that which leads from a person's palace, his castle, into his gardens and his rivers and so on and so forth. That this part of the person's home in the paradise, طَوْلُهَا سِتُّونَ مَيْلًا. That it will be 60 nautical miles high. If the people of the earth were to assemble everything that they had on the earth, of machinery and technology and so on and so forth, what's the tallest building? What's the tallest building on the planet right now? The Burj, right? How tall do you think it is?
9,000 feet.
Huh? 9,000 feet. 9,000 feet. The Prophet ﷺ, he says, "Sittuna maylan," 60 nautical miles in the air. And a mile is what your eye can see to the horizon. They call it a nautical mile. And he's around 45 miles tall. It's a part of a person's home. And one narration said that will be its width. Meaning it will be that wide and it will be that tall. Just a part of a person's home. قال ثم يلقى رجلا فيتهيأ للسجود. And then after seeing his home, he will come across the man in the paradise. And the first that he sees in the paradise. And he will start to bow for the man. ويقال له ما لك ما لك أي مهلا. And he slow down, take it easy. What's wrong with you? And he will say, رأيت أنك ملك من الملائكة. He said, I saw you and thought that you were one of the angels. I saw you and thought that you were one of the angels. فيقول إنما أنا خازن من خزانك عبد من عبيدك تحت يدي 1000 قهرمان على مثل ما أنا عليه. والقهرمان هو المسيطر على من تحت يديه الحفيظ لشؤونه. he will say that I am just one of your many gatekeepers. And I am just one of your many slaves. And there are 1,000 diligent servants under my command that are the same as me in status and beauty.
يشاقق الرسول من بعد ما تبين له الهدى ويتبع غير سبيل المؤمنين نوله ما تولى ونصله جهنم وساءت مصيرا.